right, guys. Hello and welcome to another cast in Alchemy League Season 10. We are now live. I am your host, Tech Chariot, and we are very lucky to have a very special co-caster with us today. He is so good at talking on the internet that he actually, to my understanding, does it for a living.
I
So
do, I do.
he does do it for. So we got Johnny Walrus here. Johnny Walrus is his Age of Empires 2 name. I don't think I've seen that name anywhere else except for Age of Empires 2. But actually, in our description, I will add his co-caster information and maybe a link to his channel. But he runs the Willie Mac show. So welcome, Johnny Walrus.
Hi, hi. Yeah, I'm a much better YouTuber than I am a Age of Empires 2 player, so I've taken the bench. I've
Hmm.
taken my place on the bench, dude.
Yeah, and he's better at Age of Empires 2 than I am. So that gives you guys an idea of how good his YouTube channel is. So you guys should go check that out. All right, so we're on the Season 10 webpage for Alchemy League. It basically always starts here. This is your one-stop shop for all of our community resources. You guys know Plotter Ghost, he put this website together for us. It's really awesome. Oops, don't want to share that. That's just noobcaster stuff. We got our seating here, and I'm just going to tell you guys a little bit about the players that we're going to feature today because I always like to start here. So we're going to have Cablo, who is mid 1200s, and he is from, I think he's from Spain. We can always click on this link, this hyperlink here, and it'll take us directly to his AoE2 GG profile. And yeah, there he is. So Cablo is from Spain. Looks like he's currently mid 1100s, but he is seated mid 1200s. So I guess he must have a really favorable win rate or something like that. Um, and he is going to be up against Manzanito, who is seated in the upper 1100s. So we have 32nd and 34th seeds. I believe that Manzanito is from Spain as well. These are all new players, basically, except for, no, he's from Mexico. These are all new players today, except Chipmunk, which leads me to the second set that we're going to cast, which is Lonzo Wall versus Chipmunk. And so this is in the mid to upper 1600s. So we're going to start with Cablo and Manzanito and work our way up. So the game should
No,
get
and
more.
I really love the elo of 1100 to 1200 because it tends to be these players have one really key aspect of their game that brings out some craziness. So you could see some seriously different play styles. So I'm excited.
Exactly. Some people might make the observation that once you start getting above 2K or even less than that, you make like the smallest mistake or the smallest creative flourish that's non-ideal, and the other player is just going to punish it with some really meta moves. But between 1,000 and 1,300 elo, you could get away with a lot more. It's a lot
You
harder
can
to
be really
punish stuff.
weird and pull it out, man.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why I love having all kinds of people in our league. So we're gonna show you guys the civilization drafts after I explain that Lonzo Wall is from Turkey and Chipmunk is from Argentina. So Chipmunk is the only returning player among all those that we are casting today, and I don't think that I've ever seen any of these other guys in games. So I don't know. Maybe they're all chronic tower rushers. We'll find out. I'll be surprised either way. So I'm really looking
I
forward
mean,
to.
I feel like Lonzo Wall is a name that I've heard about. Like he certainly has been in some YouTube video I've watched, I think. Or he's got a YouTube channel or something. That name's for some reason familiar.
I think I've heard of him as well. Maybe he's a very prolific team game player or something, and he's well known throughout the community.
It's a hilarious name either way, dude. I love a good basketball meme. So
So we're gonna go into the map drafts here, and it's a little bit confusing. I'm showing the map draft on my screen. Let me zoom in a little bit here. Um, the way that it works is there's a featured map for that particular round, and then they pick that map to start out with, and after which they will take turns discarding maps until none remain. And then, depending on how many games they decide they want to play, subsequent maps are picked in the reverse order of the discard. So in that way, they are guaranteed to play on the map of the round. They don't have any repeat maps, and they have somewhat of a fair system for picking the remaining maps that they want to play. So um, Cablo picked Crater of Doom because he had to, because that was the map of round one. And then they took turns discarding, Bear Valley, Emigration, Bluegill, Shogun, Spring Hills, Conflagration, until only Kubu was left. And so that's what they're going to play in game two. So we're going to see Cablo and Manzanito on Crater of Doom and Kubu. And for Lonzo Wall and Chipmunk, we're going to see them on Conflagration because these guys played their set in a different round. And then the second game, we're going to see them on Shogun.
Man, dude, this map looks great.
So
Crater of Doom looks awesome.
yeah, it's and we'll get in. We'll introduce the map as soon as we get in. But we got a lot of fun maps, as Johnny Walrus is saying. For their civilization draft, so their map draft is typically done first, and then the civilization draft, although it's not defined in the handbook, so we should fix that. The way that the civilization draft works is that it randomly bans, I think, 16 civilizations at the start, and then they each globally ban 4, and then they pick 3, snipe 1, and then pick 3 more. So there are a lot of global bans, and especially random admin bans. So this, we're hoping, ensures better civilization variety instead of the same 5 civilizations throughout the league. The result of the ban...
That is interesting, too, because it's going to stop a lot more comfort picks if there's a bunch of random bans.
Exactly. And the result of that process has left Cablo with the Georgians, the Tupi, the Britons, the Bulgarians, and the Italians, whereas Manzanito has been left with the Wei, the Japanese, the Tatars, the Franks, and the Vikings. Some of you may note that the new Chinese civs and South American civs are incorporated in these drafts. It's a new thing for Alchemy League. Essentially, we had to update some of our worksheets and our competitivity evaluations to include units that these civilizations could make, units and strategies for these civilizations to make sure that the maps were competitive. And then once we made sure that the maps through our process were competitive with these civilizations, we could add them to our drafts to be available for players.
Who do you favor with these civs?
Let's see. I don't know, actually. I'm basically just a filthy Byzantines picker. So I measure the value of I measure the value of a civilization based on how much it deviates from the Byzantines. So I guess I prefer Cablo's draft. It's got defensive infantry. He's got Italians, which are great with the monks. He's got Britons for some long-range power. I don't know much about the Tupi because they are a new civilization. However, I also like Manzanito's pick of the Japanese. Japanese are very common throughout Alchemy League. It seems that we have a lot of hybrid-style maps. I think that these guys are pretty smart to snipe some Portuguese and Spanish from each other. They don't like the idea of the other person having access to, I guess, a really great unique unit. Spanish are especially really scary on nomad style maps. Not that they're going to be playing a nomad map from what I can, from my no nomad maps, but given their map pool of Kubu, I don't think anybody wanted to see conquistadors or organ guns on it. So it seems like their drafts are pretty reasonable.
Yeah, this definitely looks like a map where if you get a castle up, and especially if you're running around with conks, that would be a big problem. I do notice that Manzanito's got a lot more mobile of a like their civs. I feel like are a lot more cavalry based. So I'm interested to see if we're going to see more aggression out of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's an interesting observation. Cablo seemed to have picked civilizations that were better for sort of lumbering across a relatively closed or well-defended map. And if we look at the maps here, we got Crater of Doom and we've got Kubu. And Crater of Doom is kind of well, I'll explain it when we get into the Rex, but it's basically kind of like a Socotra that gives you the option to chop to a useful outside area. So not a lot of space, not a lot of favor for mobility. And Kubu, similar, lots of opportunities to wall. You start out with a walled base, and then you've got these pockets of wood that take up a lot of the map that you can wall to as well. So I think Cablo's draft is a little bit more in line with the nature of the maps.
Yeah, I mean this map is so cool. I can't wait for you to get in here.
All right, I'm working on it. I think I'm all set now. Guys, I have loaded up Coblo versus Manzanito on Crater of Doom. And let me just change the scenes here. Go over to the game screen share. And here we go. I am on 4 seconds, and I am ready whenever you are.
Okay, I'm ready.
All right, 3, 2, 1, unpause. So welcome everybody to the first game in Alchemy League. Well, our first game in today's cast of Alchemy League Season 10. I'm Tech Cherry, and I'm joined by Johnny Walrus. And we're going to cast some Age of Empires on some custom maps, and it's going to be a great time.
Yeah, I mean, what I love about this map so much is there's a ton of res in the middle, mostly gold. And it's going up and down this hill, and then you're actually pretty far from your res. So if you want to go ahead and bring towers forward, you can. If you want to drush, I feel like that would be pretty effective. It seems like there's a lot of strategy that could work here.
Mm-hmm. Not a lot of stone on this map, though. To the credit of the map maker Jasuki, who's from Spain. Jasuki's been great. He's recommended our league to a lot of players. I think we've met a lot of people through Jasuki. And he said, "Hey, I got a map in this league. Come on over and try it out." And so that's how we met Coblo and maybe even Manzanito as well. Guys, if you're in the chat, let me know how you found out about Alchemy League. But to Johnny Walrus's point about towers, not a lot of stone here. Just 2 tiles, each one having 350 stone to it. So you could maybe do a limited tower rush, but it's not like somebody's going to go fast castle and do a castle drop, because that would be extremely risky on this map. Certainly not enough stone for multiple castles.
You'd only be able to get 1 castle down if you did it, so you got to really be, I'm not sure what rate you'd chop out of the map out. You think you'd be out by midway through castle or early castle if you queue up the bills?
It's a great question. You actually don't know how long it will take you to chop outside before the game starts, because the thickness of the wood line around the outside is somewhat random.
Wow, really?
It's generally on the thicker side. So we've seen thicknesses that lend themselves to, I think it's the thinnest that it can be is basically just as you're getting Castle Age, maybe about 2 minutes, 5 minutes into Castle Age. Your villagers are out and outside, and they're able to build on the outside. But most of the games that I've cast on Crater of Doom they've never gotten to the outside. But I've heard that once some people played and it got to the outside, and then there was all kinds of cavalry battles out here because there's a lot more space.
I was gonna say, once they're outside, it's like a whole new game. It's like a whole new map.
Exactly, and that's sort of the fun part, is that it drives a lot of players nuts, but we really love to have variation like this in our maps, because we think that it forces players to adapt, play a little bit differently depending on what the map is presenting to you, as long as it's understood that variation is possible within the map, and you can kind of have a contingency plan for, okay, what happens if this map has a super thick or a super thin wood line to chop to the outside. Hyder is in the chat. Hyder says thickness ranges from 4 to 8, if I'm not mistaken. Thank you, Hyder.
I love that sort of thing too, because I think what makes Age stand out is just the randomness and the variety of the maps. So I like the adaptability. I like when things can be asymmetrical. So I'm into it.
Now, some people have heavily endorsed the chickens on this map. And Hyder really likes this map, and he probably knows all about the chickens, really. He could tell us about, like if it's a chicken versus a deer spawn or whatever. Actually, I don't think I've seen deer. I think it's mostly chickens and hares. The idea is you have to come out here and you have to take some vulnerable food. And Manzanito has found Coblo's food here. And so the players are, there's opportunity to do some damage here. Some people have figured out that you can build a dock in the middle and build a couple of oystering ships and collect some gold that way. Although there is a bug, I don't know if the devs have fixed it yet, where you can't, oystering ships that are garrisoned cannot shoot arrows, which is somewhat unfortunate. But neither player has made an attempt to dock so far. They both have kind of just walled to the back here, to their town center, or at least one of them has.
I've never seen this black marsh texture, dude. It definitely looks like Venom crashed into the planet.
Well, that's because you didn't find us until after Alchemy League Season 5. But in Alchemy League Season 5, I think that... did we have Jisuke in Alchemy League Season 5? I think we did. Cablo says, I'm sorry for what you're about to watch. Oh, what? Cablo, no, don't say that. These maps are very hard, though. But in Alchemy League Season 5, it was space-themed. So we had a ton of water that had black masked over it. And yeah, it did look like
cool.
there was just an oil spill out there, but in reality, it was just outer space. The devs did do a mod where they added like a space skin, but then they took it away, and we could never access it again. So we just did the black mask instead. So this is guys, this is a stratovolcano here,
Oh, there's
and that's
a
what they're
hole.
fighting
Do you
over.
see that?
What? Where? Oh.
In Blue's, in Quablo's woodline between that straggler tree.
Uh-oh.
On that diagonal section. Man, I would never notice that too, so I wonder if he saw that Red Scout walk through there.
So Cablo, I think, saw it because he is now walling here. Both players reach feudal approximately the same time. We got Tatars versus Bulgarians. Tatar is very popular on this map. I've seen them on this map before. Oh, we got a Drush here. No, we got a Man-at-Arms brush. Manzanito with a Tatar Man-at-Arms brush. That's actually very unexpected. The Tatars, of course, because they received more...
Oh, the hole's still there!
Oh, no!
Oh, no! Oh! Oh, my gosh,
no.
Really? It's still
poor
there.
Cablo. Alright, well,
I cannot believe it.
That's rough. He's got to quick wall his woodline. Yeah, there he is. He's got some palisades down.
It's never going up.
It's not going to go up in time, unfortunately, for Cablo.
No, Man-at-Arms rushing. Even at my elo, where I'm like 1500 or whatever, this is OP, dude. Every lower elo, this is like the best strat.
Yeah. And you know what makes it even more powerful here? I know that Cablo is
Good micro,
apologetic.
too.
Cablo is apologetic in the chat, but you know, nobody expects a Tatar's Man-at-Arms rush. Tatar infantry sucks. You can't even get Castle Age armor upgrades on your infantry as the Tatars. So, not only did Manzanito...
Really? I did not know that.
Yeah, not only did Manzanito not make the units that Cablo was expecting, but Cablo also had a hole in his wall, too. So, Cablo took a lot of damage, but, you know, it's not really his fault too much. I mean, maybe he could.
You know what? Neither of those houses blocks fixes the hole. The hole's still there.
Yeah.
Oh, this is so relatable, dude.
So.
Quablo.
So let me see if I can cycle through some menus and figure out what they're. Yeah. So basically, Manzanito killing 2 villagers off of Cablo. So Cablo's 20 villagers. Manzanito is 22 villagers. So. You know, Cablo gets a little bit of an economic advantage over that. I don't know what Manzanito... Okay, looks like Manzanito is making some Man-at-Arms of his own. Bulgarian Man-at-Arms are much more expected. They, I believe that they get the Man-at-Arms upgrade for free. Yeah, militia line upgrades are free. So that really helps out a lot.
And Manzanito, the Tartar player, really doubling down into a lot of Man-at-Arms. I'm a big Man-at-Arms fan. So I do this with a lot of the civs I play, so I like it, especially when you got all the hunt out there. Mm-hmm. Although I'm surprised nobody's gone archer sooner.
Well, Manzanito is building a range right now, so he's probably thinking about it. Cablo is a little bit behind, but Cablo
well, it's scary to go archers as Bulgarians too.
Yeah,
just because you don't get crossbow.
But we have noted in previous Alchemy League casts that Johnny Walrus likes his Man-at-Arms rushes to varying degrees of success. But Cablo running toward Manzanito here, trying to chase down this villager. The Man-at-Arms are slightly faster than the villagers, but I guess he decides to bail. He sees the archer and he gives up. I think he almost could have gotten another villager kill or a villager kill off of that. Villager advantage
I think so too.
3 for Manzanito. So Manzanito has army on the field, and Cablo has a single lonely Man-at-Arms running away. Now he has locked down a pretty good wall here. I don't know if he's plugged this hole yet. I don't think so.
That hole is still there, I think.
The Man-at-Arms arrive at the berries, but Cablo is ready. He pulls the villagers back, and garrison. Yeah, there we go. So the Man-at-Arms have to withdraw after getting a face full of arrows. All right, so the map control definitely belongs to Manzanito here. But you know what? The other reason that I like the choice of Bulgarians on this map is because of creep posts. You have enough stone to build 2 creep posts, and creep posts, you know, early castle age, they can they can be just as punishing as a castle to feudal age units. Creep posts are just as
and the
scary.
stone's actually in his walls, which is a good call.
And the stone being in his walls, and it's not just part of his wall either. It's directly inside of his walls. So maybe he can get to castle age here pretty soon. We're looking at his resources. He's not really close. He is making skirmishers and he's making man-at-arms of his own. I suppose he feels that can't really let his opponent tear down his walls with these man-at-arms. I think that Coblo should be making archers. What do you think, Johnny Walrus? I know it's kind of weird making archers, but he could do way more damage to the man-at-arms, and more importantly, he wouldn't be using up food.
I think it's just too much of an investment when all you can get out of these men-at-arms is, you know, probably killing a few buildings. I think it's probably not worth to keep investing. Because ideally, you're going to want to switch into cav archers anyway. Let's just get up a little quicker, is what I would think. But I mean, I don't know, good value. A lot of map control. You're going to find more villagers out on the left. Oh, no!
Yeah, Coblo trying to sneak out there and take some chickens, but Manzanito
Coblo's
is paying
so
attention.
greedy!
Well, sometimes greed pays at this
You know what? These men-at-arms are doing so much work, though, against these skirmishers.
You know, I take my hat off to these players because they're actually like, you know, they're trying to go military and stuff. Sometimes on Alchemy League maps, you know, that are kind of like this, and somebody's got a good wall off, they'll just try to go fast castle. But Coblo and Manzanito are at least both trying to contest these resources, which is a great choice. It's made the game a lot more entertaining to cast.
That's where Quablo was going, was like a pseudo FC, because he put down so many farms before he went for the range. So I thought maybe he was just going to try and greed his way up. But he's into skirms. He's got a good number now. The men-at-arms are mostly gone.
Yep, Manzanito. I don't think he's made any. I don't see any more man-at-arms for Manzanito. I think he's getting
Quablo, if he gets the market down, he's got a lot of gold.
No, Manzanito is making more man-at-arms. And he is. Neither player is planning on clicking up yet.
This guy's crazy, dude. He's out of his mind.
Coblo says, I have 700 gold. Fantastic micro. I just assumed that Coblo was saving up the gold for a monk rush once he gets into Castle Age. He's building a market now, so this will help him balance his economy out. But yeah, he does have a lot on gold. And, you know,
it's super common to have your eco get out of hand. The fact that he's recognized market before his opponent is a great play, though.
Yeah, I agree. It's you know, they show it on TV, right? And you see all these pro players with like perfectly balanced ecos, and they're like microing, and they're like laming 3 boards at the same time, and that sort of thing. And you know, it is very hard to balance your eco when you're fighting, you know, small pitched battles like that, where you're constantly throwing more units in. And it's
been a lot of aggression. A lot of aggression.
Exactly. And so I think Coblo has
been
playing pretty well.
The KD's dead even. 17 to 17 KD right now.
Yep. Now I don't know how much of that is villager kills versus military kills, but Coblo is in big trouble because Manzanito has clicked up to Castle Age. So Manzanito will be Castle Age in a little under 2 minutes probably. And
so I do have Capture Age, and I do see Manzanito's got 4 villager kills, Quablo with 0. But what's interesting is because Manzanito's clicked up a little earlier, Quablo's actually up 1 villager at the moment. 2 villagers.
Yep, because of the earlier click up, and I don't know, maybe Coblo was able to keep his town center working more actively. Coblo is luckily up to the Castle Age himself, too, so Manzanito is not going to be too far ahead on that. And Coblo here with some man-at-arms chasing Manzanito off of his mill on the right-hand side. I think he should try and hit the gold. He may not know about it. Let's check the Fog of War. Neither player has docked for the oysters. Yeah, he knows that there's a mining camp here. I guess he's going to go and look for the lumber camp instead.
What do you go as Bulgarians? You're stuck in here. You aren't going to be chopped out for a little bit still. What is the unit?
I think the unit is I think it's an infantry and siege push as Bulgarians. Let's check their bonuses. Their militia line upgrades are free, so he would get long swordsman for free. And he would get... Well, the siege workshop technologies aren't going to come into effect until the Imperial Age, but if he's already invested in siege, then it makes an Imperial Age transition more easy. And they can build the Krepost and Castle Age, which could reinforce a push somewhere. So I think
Manzanito's going crossbow and not CA.
Makes a lot of sense. There's not a lot of room to run around.
Yeah.
I know everybody loves CA these days, but I think in close quarters maps like this, the crossbow are more cost effective. With the CA, you're paying for mobility that you don't need. That's kind of the way that I look at it, because they are more expensive units.
That's a good call, for sure.
So these crossbows and these man-at-arms are fighting off the skirmishers for Kablo on the left-hand side. Kablo's got to run. We can see Kablo has just hit Castle Age, and he gets the man-at-arms, or the longswordsman upgrade for free, and he's getting the armor, and he's also getting elite skirmisher, and I guess he's building another town center here on the chickens and hares in front of the berries. So he wants another town center, and actually Manzanito is the one that's playing this more aggressive in Castle Age, which I was not expecting.
Quablo's actually up in villagers right now, and res collected is exactly the same. I mean, it is a really close game despite the overwhelming aggression from Manzanito here.
So Manzanito has added another town center on his stone. It could be that his plan is to take, the rest of this stone and put it toward a castle, maybe buy just a little bit of the remaining stone that he needs, and plant a castle on his opponent's base. The way that the crater is set up, you can't really walk directly across the map and plop a castle directly on your opponent, but maybe he can walk around the donut here and still get a good spot to deny some resources with it. But he's built up a decent army of crossbowmen. He's got man-at-arms tearing houses down, and he's got a scorpion here just for a little bit more edge against defensive skirmishers. So Manzanito...
You know what? Quablo needs a siege workshop in a bad way here. You could already see where this is going, where you're just starting to get overwhelmed by the numbers here.
Yeah, Kablos is in the chat. He says, I felt I was down by a lot while playing. I think with a siege workshop, and you're okay. A siege workshop, or maybe even two siege workshops. I think this hole is still in this wall.
I think the hole is still there.
Well, Manzanito doesn't think so, because he's trying to chisel another one. If that's the case, you actually were not down by a lot, Kablo. It was a lot closer than it looked. You're actually ahead on villagers right now. Kablo rushing out with some swordsmen and sniping this scorpion, which is a good play.
Wow, nice. That was a great play.
And because Manzanito doesn't have ballistics, he can't punish the longswords for so doing, unless the longswords charge back out at them.
Yeah, Quablo not having Bodkin here is hurting. But man, I mean, this has been an awesome game so far. This is so good. We actually see longswords from the Tartars.
Now we see a Step Lancer from the Tatars
and
too.
Step Lancers!
Yeah,
oh my gosh, look at this!
That'll help clear up Kablo's skirmishers here. What Kablo needs is he needs a monastery now to convert these Step Lancers. I think the Step Lancers are functionally equivalent to knights as far as monks are concerned. Like, if a monk is looking at a Step Lancer, he basically just sees a knight. To a monk, yeah. They all look the same. Now, the Step Lancers they're not quite as tanky. I think they have a little bit less of a gold investment.
These swordsmen, I think, are doing good enough. I think swordsmen with the skirms, you can kind of overwhelm it. I mean, especially if Quablo gets Bodkin here.
Mm-hmm. And this, he doesn't look like the Step Lancer has any armor upgrades, so that's why the skirmishers are able to tear through them.
Yeah, it's got less armor than a light cav.
It's true. It's true. They're less armored. They're more of a raiding unit. But they are good at like ganging up and kiting things. They're kind of a troll unit in a way, if you have enough of them.
And they're really cool looking too. So
yeah, well that counts for something.
Oh, we got a castle drop on the right coming in. Oh, this is gonna be bad.
Yeah, here it is. So we were talking about that earlier. About, well, hey, Manzanito's taking a lot of stone right now. What's he gonna do with that? And well, here it is. Here's the castle. He's putting this up on Kablo's 2 ranges, and I think it can also reach his his town center. If it
Yeah,
if it
this is a
can,
morale break. This one hurts.
he could get Bodkin, and it would be able to range the town center. And Kablo
What's
is
funny
coming.
is Pablo's position isn't bad, but it just feels like since he hasn't had the initiative here, it just feels like morale's low, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I think Kablo is doing better than he realized, but sometimes in Alchemy League, the wins will go to people that play very aggressively, and I suppose that's true with any type of competition. I don't know how many competitions Kablo plays in. He says Kablo in chat says didn't see a castle drop coming. Yeah, they're pretty sneaky. We've seen some players build like outposts and stuff in front of their economy just to give them a little bit more of a heads up, and so Kablo needs some gold. He's exhausted the safe gold in the back, and so he's building a mining camp on this other gold, and he's going to take gold here. He's investing
Pablo
in...
has no stone.
Yeah,
Monastery denied.
Although, Kablo could take stone in the back of his base, but the denial of that monastery really hurts. He's going into pikemen and into skirmisher. Now, Manzanito is still losing lots of cavalry, but he's creating chaos in Kablo's base, and sometimes the low elo legends. Now these guys are not really low elo legends, but they're lower in, they're on the lower seed side of Alchemy League. Sometimes games are won or lost based on how much chaos you can make in your enemy's town.
The aggression from Manzanito is so good, attacking on the left, attacking on the right, has the siege posted up right on the range, the castle on the other ranges, a tower coming in. I mean, this is just overwhelming. He's made every different unit you possibly can in this game.
Yeah.
Archers, men-at-arms, long swords, the unique unit.
Yeah, he's everywhere. I've never seen Manzanito play before, so it's kind of interesting to see that this is his style. And if this is his style, it could be suited well for Alchemy League.
We got a town center coming on the other side. The other side of all of the military buildings from Manzanito.
And yeah, Kablo has a town center foundation that he just can't get to because there's too much Manzanito army here. And
Pablo, this is just so relatable, honestly. This is such a good game, and then finally the overwhelming aggression just sort of breaks you at the right time. You don't notice the castle drop, boom, it shows up, and then everything sort of falls apart. I mean, I loved that game. That was a great game, great map.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun to see Manzanito's interpretation of the map. I think Kablo had some good ideas, but Manzanito just did not give him any breathing room to do it. Showing us the power of the Tatars on the caldera of the Crater of Doom.
Now, I think mentally the hole in the wall, like even though Quablo caught up and actually was ahead in resources at one point, just that sort of thing sets the tone for the game where I know like I feel mentally weaker after seeing that.
So let's take a look at the achievements here. We go to the military scores. Looks like, yeah, look at this. Manzanito with a 2-to-1 kill-to-death ratio. Essentially, and with a kill-to-death ratio that high, it's impressive that Kablo survived as long as he did.
It was actually very good macro from Quablo.
Mm-hmm. Now, Manzanito had a larger army of 20. Kablo's army, largest army of 18. Only 4 buildings raised. Economic statistics: Manzanito had more food, Kablo with more gold, Manzanito with more stone and gold collected. Technology: Manzanito was faster to advance to the feudal age and the castle age. And Kablo had more of the map explored and more research count. Society stats: Manzanito had 1 castle and he used it well, with a villager high of 72 versus 68. So, similar villager highs, but a 2-to-1 kill-to-death ratio for Manzanito.
And what do you think was the key difference? Like, what was it, the castle drop there?
In terms of the decisive moment that won Manzanito
the decisive
the game?
moment where it really went in one player's favor.
That's a great question.
Because they were even, man, it was an even game, and then it just seemed like in 1 second things got a little too hectic.
I think this castle really frazzled Kablo a lot. I think the monastery being denied also really frazzled him. The hole in the wall didn't help, but he wasn't dead after the hole in the wall. I think it was that he basically could not keep up with this knight spam.
Yeah.
Maybe it was only having one barracks, whereas his opponent built multiple stables. His opponent has 3 stables here. I don't think there was any really one thing. I think it was just attrition. But I think this castle, maybe if I had to pick one thing, it would be the castle in this location, basically shutting down these archery ranges, preventing them from creating reinforcement skirmishers, which were tearing through relatively unarmored knights or steppe lancers earlier. So those are kind of my thoughts.
You know what? I'm excited to see game 2. I'm hoping for some more aggression. I don't know what this next map is going to entail here.
So Cablo says, I didn't do siege workshops earlier and not doing archers now from the outside. That's a good observation, too. A siege workshop could have helped clear out a ball of archers earlier, made them cheaper to get rid of. And he didn't do archers, which slowed down his castle age.
Yeah, a couple mangoes would have gone a long way.
Alright, let me go to the replays, and we will
But if you
load up
go as
this.
archers as Bulgarians, no crossbow upgrade. You know, so it's kind of a tricky situation there. That's a civ wherever I random into Bulgarians. I'm always kind of confused on where to go.
All right, so I am on 1 second here for Manzanito versus Cablo on Cubu. And I am ready whenever you are.
Okay, I'm on 1 second too.
All right, 3, 2, 1, go. All right, so guys, we are here with another game between Cablo and Manzanito for Alchemy League Season 10. This game is on Cubu V4. This is a map by Superhero 55. Superhero had a map, Cubu, that he wanted to submit to our open contest, but he had already uploaded the map to the workshop, which meant that it was not really considered to be intellectually fully under his control. So what we did was we worked with Superhero to randomize the player starting condition on Cubu, and this is what we came up with. So I helped Superhero with the player positioning and then where the player's starts are. But, you know, the design of the map, it belongs to Superhero. And Superhero did everything else, like the objects, the terrains, etc. So as you guys can see, this is a palisade base start. But you got a couple of pockets of gold or stone that you can chop to. So for these players, it looks like they both have the stone on the left-hand side. And the stone is close enough to the woods that you can see it. So you know which one is. But you don't know where the stone is going to spawn at the beginning of the game. They're saying something to each other in Spanish that I don't understand. Does anybody in chat know what he's saying? Or maybe Johnny Walrus speaks Spanish, and so he knows what they're saying. But I don't know.
You know what? I took Spanish in high school, and I can't say I did very well. So,
Well,
this is why I love Alchemy League. Though, look at this. This map is another really neat one where these palisades, at least my initial reaction when seeing these, is actually a facade of protection. You're actually pretty close to your opponent. So I feel like a 1 TC push could actually be somewhat viable here. It's just going to leave your stone and your golds open, though, if you try to sneak out. So I'm loving what I'm seeing. I'm really interested to see how they wall it and where they play to, or how they go to play for it.
Yeah, they got some interesting choices on this map. You know, there's an argument for, like, man-at-arms towers, like Cablo, maybe he's got cheaper feudal age advancements because he's the Italians. So he goes up and he does like a 20 pop Italian man-at-arms rush. He builds a mining camp on his stone, and then he basically hits this spot right here. And he makes towers, and he drives his opponent off of this forward wood line and maybe this gold too. You could do a lot of damage with man-at-arms towers. Or they could play it completely different, and they could stonewall off, you know, between their palisades and these pockets of trees with stone and extra resources, and they could stonewall off here as well. So there's just some different options here. I'm not really sure what they're going to do. I don't know much about, and maybe you can enlighten me, I don't know much about the way, so I can't really speak to what Manzanito might be planning.
Amazing civ, especially when you get into the traction trebuchets. I think You know what? It's tough to say though against the Italians where they get the extra pierce armor. When I look at Wei, I'm almost going Jean Bei no matter what, no matter who I'm playing against, what the Civ matchup is, no matter the map, because that unit is very quick, and it can just overwhelm you so fast, especially when you're getting the extra villager every time you research in an economy tech. Wei gets an extra villager, so you can kind of snowball a really quick army with the Wei.
Well, I'll be relying on Johnny Walrus to tell me more about that because I don't own any of the DLCs actually, except for the Romans, and I just got that one so that I could play Age of Empires 1 inside of Age of Empires 2 if I wanted. I thought about doing hey Cookie Pirate, welcome. I thought about doing an Alchemy League competition on like the Age of Empires 1 civilizations.
I would love that. I always try and play Age 1, but I can never find anybody to play with. It's always like empty over there.
Yeah. Well, there was a lot of pushback within the community. They were like, we don't like Age of Empires 1. Maybe we'll do it someday, though. Maybe we'll have like a smaller event. Maybe not like a flagship. Because Alchemy League's kind of our flagship competition, so maybe not for that, but maybe to test out a smaller event. Alright, so I'm getting some translations here rolling in from chat. He said, I thought Cubu had stone walls. And Hyder says, this is version 2 or something like that. So Hyder translating. Hyder's Italian, so maybe the Italians can read some Spanish. It's not exactly clear to me how intelligible the languages are across each other. Maybe Hyder feels like his language is the father of Spanish.
No, it is tough when you go to play one of these maps and you didn't actually look at them beforehand, dude. That's the most tournament preparation thing that could happen. Relatable thing. You sign up for a tourney, you wait like a month for it to start, and by the time it starts, you forgot to check out all the maps, all the variations of it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when I look at this though, I do feel like you can play this more closed than I was initially letting on. Because if you wall between your palisades and your woodline with the extra gold, you put the lumber camp on the back side of it, you can 1 TC push this for sure. You don't need the second TC to necessarily be out there and be safe. Just some smart walls can kind of corner off a whole section of the map for you.
So Cookie Pirate is asking, how much different is 1 than 2 in terms of core gameplay? Well, first of all, this is technically version 4. As to how prevalent versions 1 through 3 were, not really sure, but there was like a previous version that Superhero worked on. And the difference between 3 and 4 is vast. The differences between 1, 2, and 3, such that they're essentially the same version, are quite small. Version 4 introduces rotation of these players around the center. So if we had been playing on the previous version, they either always would have been here at basically, I'm going to say 10 o'clock versus 4 o'clock, or they would have been at 6 o'clock versus 1 o'clock, basically 7 o'clock versus 1 o'clock. Whereas here they could be at any position across the map, going for working for all teams as well, of course.
So Manzanito dropping with the barracks too, so I'm expecting early army from them. So they're going to play this more aggressively again.
We see a market in Blacksmith from Cablo, so Cablo is thinking, I'm going to play this like a fast castle. Which could work out as long as he doesn't try to boom in the fast castle. Which it looks like
I do wish the buildings from Quablo were on the front, just so you could get a little more vision outside your walls.
Or maybe a secondary wall, like maybe if Cablo had built his market here and his blacksmith here, and he saw that Manzanito was trying to chisel through with some man-at-arms in this location, which is sort of the obvious point of attack, you know, then he could have maybe only had to have built one house, or maybe just a few palisades to wall that out. Whereas right now, if Cablo showed up with, or sorry, if Manzanito showed up with man-at-arms right here against this wall, Cablo would have to build an entire palisade across this to zone him out.
Yeah.
That is something to consider. Cookie Pirate says, okay, yeah, but instead Cablo is on this stone. So Cablo is actually almost Castle Age himself. I don't think he's going to castle drop. We don't see a lot of castle drops on Alchemy League. It's actually quite rare. But maybe he will. I don't know. But
It's a really good
with a
unique unit against the way, though, if you're able to get into the Genoese crossbow.
because the way enjoy their mounted units. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Genbows could be really good. I actually would find like a fast imp monk treb build could perhaps be compelling on this map, but you would have to be very careful because you would be going fast imp essentially as Italians. But you can get like a castle out for defense. You could get a few Genbows. They absolutely destroy scouts. And Italians have a really decent monk rush. They have all of the monk techs and everything, and it's cheaper for them to advance and get to the next age. So, you know, you mix in a few Genbows with your to protect your monks, a few trebuchets, and you could really wreck your opponent. But Cablo is coming forward, so he is going to castle drop Manzanito. He's got his I guess his scout running away, keeping this
Something Quablo. I hope Quablo realized. No, I think he's going to be okay. But when you see the spearmen, that means you know they got the barracks and there might be a range or stable up. But Quablo is fearless. You know, Quablo judges it right. Although he's here a little early.
He's taking a big risk. So if we look at Manzanito's Fog of War, Manzanito sees this immediately.
Only 5 bills is crazy.
Yeah, this is a very bold castle drop here.
But he read it right. There is the barracks, but he didn't build his second building. Wasn't a range or a stable.
Yeah.
Manzanito's building, so it's actually safe.
Yep. So the luck works out for Cablo. There aren't any archers. There aren't any man-at-arms floating around. You know, just about ready to cut through. And so he's going to get his castle up in a very controlling location. He is going to deny one of Manzanito's golds, which Manzanito, you know, probably wouldn't appreciate very much. That's not to say that
you're right.
There aren't any other golds anywhere else. I mean, obviously Manzanito could come here and chop through here to get gold, but you know, on this map, the players are given fewer golds and such because the creator, Superhero, wanted to encourage people to come out here and take this gold. And
you know what? I'm not sure what their scouting is like. I'm not sure if they looked at this map much. So I wonder if they even know if they even have that on their minds.
So we're going to go to the Fog of War. So Cablo knows that he's denied this gold, and he's about to find out that there is an enemy castle here. All right, so now at this point, you know that you're in the castle age. Your opponent is in the castle age. Your opponent has a castle staring down your castle, and so it should be a race to the Imperial Age at this point.
It's not, though. Look at the Siege Workshop. We might see a ram push here.
Yeah, so ram push, and Manzanito, he could build. Actually, does Cablo know about that Siege Workshop? He does. He could build a defensive Siege Workshop of his own.
Oh, so smart.
It's a great idea. Get a mangonel going to make sure that you can crush any rams that show up at the base of your castle. Now we have some Tiger Cavalry. I don't really know much about Tiger Cavalries. Maybe they're
these things are so good. They're very. I would consider them one of the more OP unique units. It's actually going to deny the Siege Workshop, which is big.
That hurts a lot. The Siege Workshop was just like in a perfect location where you could not get away because there was this little pocket here. And I think he needs a monastery too to convert the Tiger Cavalry. Although the Tiger Cavalry have a lot of pierce armor. Holy crap. But they have no
they are strong. I do feel like if you just go in the castle. I do feel like if you get the Genoese crossbow rolling, they'll kind of chew right through it.
The Italians get cheaper Imperial Age, so I think that Cablo should definitely be thinking about that. Protect the castle with a few Genbows, or protect your own walls with a few Genbows, and try to get Imperial Age. It's cheaper for you as the Italians, and take down this troublesome castle that your opponent has.
Oh, and he's engaging without any fletching or anything, though. It's still kind of working. Oh man, the Genoese bonus damage is still kind of doing it, despite having, like, no numbers.
Yeah, the Genbows have great bonus damage. But instead, Cablo is adding a town center. Oh no. So what will happen is the Tiger Cavalries will get in here and they'll just run around everywhere. The town center, I guess, could secure a little bit of wood, and it secures the gold. But it does not secure the stone or the back wood line. So the Tiger
And this is a
Cavalry
position where Quablo wanted to be aggressive, and now look, you're stuck chasing all these cavalry around.
Yep, he's got.
And these things are so tanky, the TC is going to do nothing to them.
So Manzanito says, "Oh, you're going to castle drop me, and think that you can put me on the defensive? Well, you thought wrong." And he just immediately runs to Cablo's base and raids his wood line, breaks in, and Cablo has to come over here and rebuild on this forward wood line, which is still not the best place.
So frustrating. As 2 more cavalry come in.
Now these Tiger Cavalry do not have any armor upgrades, but even without them, they have the same pierce armor as a knight with Castle Age armor upgrades. So, which means that they can basically run underneath town centers with reckless abandon.
Quablo having no fletching, no bodkin. It just hurts that much more.
5 damage per arrow. The pierce armor.
And I think every unit they kill, they get like a bonus. They get extra health.
Oh, really?
It's something like that, yeah.
So because the Tiger Cavalry have 4 pierce armor against the town center's 5 attack, that means that each arrow from the town center does only 1 damage to the Tiger Cavalry. Now, granted, they do fire multiple arrows, so you're still getting, more than just 1 damage per volley. But still, it could be a lot more. We see that there's been a ram push from Manzanito on Cablo.
Yeah, you can see some of these Tiger Cav have +1 attack, 125 HP. It's because of every military unit they defeat, they get a little buff. So this snowball's actually going to get worse and worse.
Ooh. Hyder says they get extra health and attack. And Cablo says, I didn't realize this kind of things. Oh, about the potential for Imperial Age quickly, or... Yeah, don't let him in, man. You start with Palisade Walls, which is a huge advantage. You could wall this off with stone walls, and that would keep these guys out for a while. You can build monks. You got
stone walls are really the key.
Stone walls are fantastic, and I'm definitely not biased at all. But I highly recommend them, because it seems like Cablo's the kind of guy that, and maybe he's just up against a really crazy opponent, one that likes to be super aggressive. I mean, Manzanito has not built a second town center at all. He is doing a 1 town center all-in push here.
But when I look, Manzanito, what he's doing is he's not necessarily, I think, like any more talented or playing like so much better. It's more so that Manzanito knows how to turn the game into his play style. And like, again, he was second to the castle. The castle was on his space, and he still turns it where I'm in your base. Like, that's really an impressive skill set to have in Age.
So he's got the rams working. The Tiger Cavalry are going to run in and
the women and children are going to get slaughtered. Oh no!
No, it's Cablo.
The Italian people.
Yeah, the Italians.
Hydor, close your eyes.
They're going to have to withdraw from the Kubu region. Cablo says, I said it earlier. Sorry for what you saw. No, it's no problem, Cablo.
I mean, this is the fun part. Now you just fight back with the people pick up their arms. They fight back. They get slaughtered. I mean, you got to enjoy it, this part of Age.
I think he is a better player than me anyway. Well, that's the only way to get better at Age of Empires, is to play people that are better than you are. Maybe these maps were just rewarding of his play style. There's all kinds of things that could have happened.
Pablo was just little things. I don't know the elo difference between you guys, but it was little things that would have made a huge difference. And I think you should be proud of this set. This was a very fun set to watch.
Mm-hmm. It was, I think they were good games. It's some very small things that if they had been slightly different, if Cablo had just had a couple monks at the beginning and converted some of those Tiger Cavalry, he could have prevented the snowball. Or maybe to heal up his Genoese crossbowmen, or maybe get the range upgrades for the Genoese crossbowmen, or stonewall out the Tiger Cavalry. These are all things, some of them super cheap, that could have dramatically improved his standing in the game. So
yeah,
there's no dishonor in what we saw from Cablo at all.
All right, dude. There's another set, right?
There is another set, but let's take a look at the statistics real quick, and then we'll go to the other set. So 58 kills for Manzanito versus 9 kills for Cablo. Oof. Buildings
I know,
raised to
and that's
71.
without any of the blacksmith upgrades with
Mm-hmm.
the Genoese, which I think really hurt there.
Cablo had more stone collected, but Manzanito had more of the other resources collected, despite being on one town center only. Cablo had cleaner builds, and he took advantage of the Italian bonuses to get up to the next age quicker. Manzanito had more of the map explored. Each had one castle. Manzanito had a larger villager high. All right, let's go back to the replays. And the next set, we're going to look at Lonzo Wall versus Chipmunk. Do you want to take a break, Willie Mac, or do you want to?
No,
Are
if
you
I
ready
could go to the restroom, I just need like 3 minutes.
All right. So, guys, we'll be back in 3 minutes with set 2. So stick with us and don't go anywhere. All right, guys, I am back. Thank you for sticking with me. Johnny Walrus is here with me, and we are casting some Alchemy League Season 10, and we're just waiting on Johnny to get back from taking
All right,
a
I'm
quick
ready
break.
to go.
All right, he is back. Excellent. He's back roughly around the same time. We have a similar concept of 3 minutes. So we have just casted one set, and we are going to go cast the other now. Lonzo Wall versus Chipmunk, Game 1. Game 1 is actually on, well, they labeled it as on, well, actually, let's do Game 2 first. So we're going to do the conflagration game first. So we'll load the replay. Conflagration was the map of the round that round. I am on 1 second.
I'm on 4 seconds.
All right, it'll be fine. So Johnny Walrus will just seem a little bit prescient throughout the cast, which I think is not uncommon. You guys are used to Johnny Walrus seeming prescient. Okay.
I don't even know what that word means, dude.
It means that Johnny Walrus can see into the future a little bit. You
Oh
guys ever
yeah,
been like, you
true.
know what, Johnny Walrus, you were totally right about this. You totally saw that coming. Um, all right, let me just change the overlay real quick to show you guys their civilizations. We've got for some bands, some random bands. I'm not going to list them all off, but a bunch of bands here. They applied some global bands, and Alonzo Wall is left with Portuguese, Saracens, Cumans, Mayans, and Byzantines. And Chipmunk is left with Italians, Jurchens, Celts, Berbers, and Persians. So Lonzo Wall sniping the Vietnamese from Chipmunk because he doesn't want to get lamed, probably. And Chipmunk sniping the Koreans from Lonzo Wall because he doesn't want to get Tower Rush. So, makes sense to me. You got anything to say about this Civ draft, Johnny Walrus, before we jump
You
into
know
the
what?
games?
When I look at Lonzo Wall's civs, I think that there's a lot of clown potential coming in. I really, really do not like playing up against the Cumans. I feel like that 2T scene boom always seems to cook me. So I'm interested to see, though, if there's going to be a lot of unique unit play. If we're going to see a lot of organ guns, a lot of whatever the Mayan unique unit is, plumed archers, kip checks, all that
Yeah,
good stuff running around.
I like Lonzo Wall's civs the best for obvious reasons, but Chipmunk's got some good ones as well.
Chipmunk
Celts.
civs are good, but I feel like you got to be aggressive with these. These are civs where you want to play to your tempo.
All right, so let's go and let me change the overlays again to get into the game screen share. And we'll get started and we'll answer Cablo's question. All right, we got Lonzo Wall versus Chipmunk on Conflagration. Conflagration was made entirely by Welcome to Rapture, and it basically features this 10 HP providing pagan shrine in the center of the map. And then players with kind of an Arabia style start, but you've got this these berry bushes that are captive inside of this hollow woodline. So that's sort of the defining feature of the map. The bushes are actually back for Lonzo Wall, which is kind of a nice advantage there. Chipmunks are pretty forward. Cablo says, I feel probably I will lose all games in this league, but anyway, when does the next sprint start? And which maps are now to be played? Alright, so Cablo, first of all, maybe you'll lose all the games in the league, but maybe not. Maybe you'll get an upset. I really appreciate you sticking with the league, despite not doing as well as you would have hoped. The league format becomes stronger when more people play in it. And you would not believe how many 1K players I have that have basically all signed up for Alchemy League one at a time, and then left and then said, I'll come back when you have more 1K players. It seems like no 1K players play in Alchemy League because no 1K players play in Alchemy League.
Pablo, though, if you want, the tournament format, I think, is way more prone to getting an upset than the ladder. Like you can play and beat out people that are 200-300 elo above you in Alchemy League if you come up with the right strategy, if you practice the map a little bit, if you look at it beforehand. I'm telling you, there's a lot of tournament potential with drafting civs and sniping civs, and I think there's a preparation there because most players don't prepare at all that you can do that can give you that edge.
Yeah, there's
it's a quick way to improve. It's a different skill set than the ladder.
Mm-hmm. There's a and we try to normalize for that. We try to basically take the elo part of it out and basically just reward people that look at these custom maps and have a unique vision for them, have a unique way of interpreting them, or something that they can do, a strategy to be able to adapt and win.
Yeah, because last season I played against a guy that was 1800 elo on the ladder. I'm 1500. I beat him, and then the following week I lost to a player that was 1250 on the ladder. I mean, like, it's, there's a lot of room to players are not perfect, and you could exploit that if you do a little scouting and get a little creative.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the preparation is definitely a big part of it. Lonzo Wall missing the board lure. Here we go. He's going to get it. So we got Portuguese versus Jurchens on this map. Thoughts about the civilization matchup?
I actually do think Jurchens are pretty underrated. especially when it comes to being able to spam out their step lancers. They attack a little quicker. Your efficiency under the town center when getting food is so good because none of the food decays. So I feel like you're always coming out with like just an extra 100 food ahead. Um, as as for the Portuguese, I don't know. This is a civ that I just always lose to, but I never know what. I never exactly know why. I don't know why they're whooping me all the time, but
Yeah, I think the Portuguese, because of the berries, like getting wood from collecting berries or something like that. But I'm not completely sure. And the Jurchens, I've seen Hyder play as the Jurchens on this map before. He said that they are unlameable, that you can basically lure in all of your sheep and they just don't rot if a Jurchen villager kills it. So you can bring all your sheep in, all of your meat underneath your town center, and just kill everything. Because apparently they've perfected refrigeration in the Middle Ages.
yeah, it's honestly it's a really underrated bonus. I'm a big fan of it. I think too with the Portuguese, they're a tough civ to play against because you can be really flexible with what you go. The gold units are cheaper, so they could clown you with a monk rush. They could go unique unit. They could play knights. They could play archers. They could play both at the same time. It's just a tricky civ. So we'll see if what Lonzo's got planned.
So I want to finish answering Cablo's question here. When does the next sprint start? It will start on Wednesday. So I just released the results yesterday for Sprint 1 of Alchemy League Season 10. And based on those results, I have to release the results before I concede for the next sprint. Because depending on what happened during those results, people will kind of drift up or down. If they won a bunch of games in Sprint 1, then that's accounted for when we redo the seeding for Sprint 2. So over these next 2 days, today and tomorrow, I will calculate a new seeding set for our players, and people will move up or down that ladder depending on how well they did in the first sprint, as well as how well they've been doing on the ladder recently. It's kind of a very complex and somewhat elaborate system, but I really do think it cancels out all of the ladder sprint, all of the ladder elo. It basically normalizes it because we're really just testing for your ability to interpret custom maps. So we'll be starting on Wednesday, maybe sooner for that if I can get it done sooner. Depends on how quickly I can do it. It's just this massive computer program, and I'm like always having to go in and debug things and update things. This past time I had to figure out how to get it to adapt to the string versus the number. So Alchemy League Season 10, like my folders were auto sorting, and it was like considering Season 10 to occur before Season 2 because a string of a 1 comes before a string. There's always something new to adapt to and to improve upon. I'm always fighting it, but we should be able to get it out pretty soon here in the next couple of days. And the map that you'll play on will be the map of the round for round 3, which I think is Bluegill, but I'm not sure. And I was actually
the quick wall is nasty there.
The quick walls are insane. The other thing I was going to add too is there is quite a bit of randomness in the results for how Alchemy League works, because this past sprint we had a guy who played perfectly. Like, you could not have played any better. He won every single game that he was assigned, but he still didn't win, even though there was a player that only won 80% of their games, because the player that won 80% of their games was only projected to win 30% of their games, and this guy who won 100% was projected to win like 50%. So, and you don't know what opponent you're going to get on different weeks and such, which could be a big random part of it too. Like, maybe you're up against a really scary opponent, but the map of the round for the round that you're against him is something that he's just really bad at, and you just have a uniquely good vision for what to do on that map. So it's I don't want to say that it's heavily luck based, but at the same time, there is a bit of luck that goes into it as well. It was kind of a two-part answer.
Chipmunk is actually got some sauce, man. We're seeing some nice quick walls. We're seeing 2 from Chipmunk. It's a lot of he's very confident that he could just keep everything walled out.
So Chipmunk in here, Lonzo Wall evacuating. I guess Chipmunk decided not to take a fight against these berry pickers, which is sort of an interesting choice. I think he regrets it now. He's coming back to get the berry pickers, but that was kind of lucky for Lonzo Wall that Chipmunk was distracted, and so Chipmunk has to run away now with his scouts. But meanwhile, yeah, Lonzo Wall is finally going to get in because he has these archers here, and he's going to do some damage. He's going to drive Chipmunk off of the berries.
I didn't even notice there was these scouts in the back. I'm looking at the front of Chipmunk's base. And meanwhile, there's aggression on the other side. I mean, you could tell there's a... I mean, these players are on point, I feel. They're playing good.
So, Hyder's saying that Jurgens are amazing if you are a cavalry player, and that they would be his favorite civ if they had a decent militia line. So Chipmunk's still not able to unseat the Romans for Hyder's love and affection. But
oh,
yeah,
Lonzo's making me sweat a little bit. Lonzo Wall has a lot of holes in his wall here when it comes to the berry pickers.
Well, he's come back here. He's got a number of scouts, but they're not really in with the berries. They're kind of standing in the middle of his base. Let's see if either of the players are close to getting up to the next stage. Chipmunk, not really. Let's see if Lonzo Wall is... No, not really. They're both heavily investing in Feudal Age and very similar small wall philosophy, I suppose, from these players. Chipmunk swirling, curving back, maybe? What's the right word here? He's coming back to check out what Lonzo Wall has, but he ends up fighting Spearman instead. Which is not really where you ever want to be, but he might get a villager pickoff. He does. So Chipmunk picking off of one of Lonzo Wall's villagers. I think he's going to get another one. And he's
yeah, you know, at the same time, a fight going on in Chipmunk's base. But I mean, it's pretty good defense.
Now, I don't see any villagers left on Chipmunk's wood line here, and I don't see any deleted palisades either. So does that mean that Lonzo Wall killed a bunch of villagers here with his...
No, there was a hole. He did lose a couple, but he was able to walk out through the bottom.
Right.
There's the unbuilt palisade.
He's walking back in through that same hole. All right, that explains it. So Chipmunk is definitely ahead of Lonzo Wall here. He's got a 2-villager lead over him based on who killed more villagers, essentially. They're both these guys are kind of avoiding each other with their armies, and they're just going after the economy. It's like war crimes here. But unfortunately,
yeah,
war crimes are what win you games of Age of Empires. Sometimes it's.
Oh my gosh! Is he going to use the monument in the middle to heal?
Unfortunately, you can't use the pagan shrine to. At least I'd never heard of that.
What's the pagan shrine do?
It provides 10 population space. It would be really cool.
Okay, I misunderstood. I thought it healed you, maybe.
That would be really cool. And there actually was a guy that was working on a random map script to make a healing monument that you could capture. But it was very convoluted, and it relied on external subroutines and modified caravanserais to be able to pull it off. It'd be really cool to have that. Actually, the Harmless Scout, next season of Alchemy League, our Sacagawea Scout, has an aura that passively heals units around her.
Oh, nice.
So we're going to give that a try. That'll be pretty flavorful and fun. So Chipmunk is... Wait, what is this? Lonzo Wall, he's running away from 6 of Chipmunk's skirmishers. I guess why fight them, right? You don't really need them. There's not anything there that you're interested in.
Oh my gosh, a great wall on the berries from Lonzo Wall. Force them into the spears. I mean, there is action all over here.
So Lonzo is on his way up to the Castle Age as the Portuguese. Let's check and see where Chipmunk is at. Chipmunk is close to clicking himself. Chipmunk feels the need to get up to the next stage. He's like, my opponent seems to have taken his foot off of the gas. I bet he's clicked up. I should click up too. Let's see. He's just about there.
This is the difference between market and no market. Now it's finally coming down.
Yeah, market for Lonzo Wall, no market for Chipmunk. Chipmunk building a market now, though. So, Lonzo Wall, it looks like he's got a bunch of He's got a bunch of archers, but he's only got one range. I don't know if he's going to go for crossbows. He seems to be saving up and like trying to protect them, so he'll probably upgrade to crossbow in the next stage.
I don't believe Jurchens get knights, so these crossbows, I mean, this could get out of hand if you get too many of them rolling and they get ballistics against the Steppe Lancers.
So Cookie Pirate says, I really wish they'd have more Native American / Mesoamerican civs in Age of Empires. Well, you know, it's just... I guess at the time it didn't make as much sense because you really wanted to grab the greatest of empires. So you were picking civilizations like the Britons, the Franks, the Saracens, the Persians, the Chinese, the Japanese, and then, but yeah, as they continue to add more civilizations and they add obscure civilizations that nobody's ever heard of, like the Jurchens. Like, who the hell were the Jurchens? Did anybody learn about the Jurchens in history class? I know I didn't.
No, I certainly didn't either.
But you know, as the obscurity of the civilizations that they add rises, it becomes a lot more compelling for them to add civilizations like the Iroquois.
Suddenly, this looks great for Alonso. You're in the enemy base with the crossbows. As Jurchens, you got to hold on for 15 seconds, but then what do you go? All you can go is Elite Skirm. Oh, you gotta run all these bills.
Why don't the Jurchens go knights? Do they not get good knights?
They do not get knights at all. All you get is Steppe Lancer. Lancer and Light Cav.
The Light Cav have the same pierce armor as knights, but they definitely have less punch.
And it's better. The Steppe Lancers are better. They attack faster, but it's not. Yeah, you're still gonna need a lot of them to take down crossbows.
Yeah, this is kind of what Lonzo Wall wants, right? Like, Lonzo Wall wants Chipmunk to send these villagers out so he can pick them off and lose all of his crossbows. I don't think he'd care too much. Yeah, he only has one archery range, and Lonzo is switching into knights now. So these crossbows are just here to kill villagers. But Chipmunk wisely keeping these skirmishers in between the crossbows and the villagers. Alright, he is going back to work on the stone.
You know what?
Now.
This is such a Portuguese game where you're going to try and keep the crossbow mass alive. You aren't going to make any more, and you're going to go into the knight switch, and you're going to have a double gold comp that the Portuguese do so well.
Now, I don't believe that Chipmunk has seen the knights yet, so that could explain why Chipmunk is like getting the armor and like teching into skirmishers. Because he may not realize that he needs an alternative. And then here come the knights, and they're running right into Chipmunk's woodline. Oh, ouch. Chipmunk's leading the wall segment.
Oh, and I love Chipmunk's game plan, but it just, you know, when you're these civs and you're these more unique civs, sometimes it's hard to tell what to go.
Yeah, and the skirmishers are still chasing Lonzo Wall's bait crossbows. Well, meanwhile, the knights are over here. All right, he did make a few fire lancers here.
Fire lancer. I love fire lancer. They get faster attacking fire lancers too, so theirs are actually very good. But your eco's been such a mess. You have no gold.
saying,
and you know what? You built the university, but you can't afford ballistics. It's just a tough time for. It's tough to be a Chipmunk at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, Chipmunk does have a score lead over Lonzo Wall. Let's check the villager count here. But Lonzo Wall has about 10 more villagers than Chipmunk. Hyder says
Lonzo's laying down the third TC as well.
Hyder says what annoys him the most about the latest DLC is the fact that the community has been asking for more American civs for ages, yet the devs preferred adding civs nobody asked for, looking at Three Kingdoms. Delivered civs which were clearly not ready for the latter, see champions at release and proceeded to nerf them so that they're not really useful anymore. I agree. I think it, you know, and this is a big discussion within the community in general of like what is the value of continuing to add civilizations? But on the other hand, the devs, it is a business and they do need to make money. They can't really operate the, you know, Alchemy League is kind of, we can keep doing this and add variety in our own way. We obviously can't add civs, but we can add thematic map pools and custom maps and such. And I think that's really, I think that's the key driver. I think that's where Age of Empires can really stand out and innovate. But it's about more than just adding more civilizations too. And the analogy that I give is like, how many different words can you make in a language that only has 4 letters? So sometimes if you want to be able to add a more comprehensive game that offers more civilizations, you got to have more units balanced against each other. And that's a lot more work than just taking existing civilizations and modifying them slightly, or like inverting a bonus or applying a bonus to something else. But to actually increase your building blocks, if you will. Because if you were to do a civilization like the Iroquois, let's say you wanted to add the Iroquois as a civilization to Age of Empires 2, it really would not work. You know, the Iroquois did not make crossbowmen. They did not make knights. You know, they would need kind of their own equivalent to those units that look and feel a little bit different.
Yeah, it's a tough balance for the devs here. And I think ultimately, like, I don't know why there isn't more tournaments that just cut out a DLC if they don't want it in, or if they want to balance towards, they want to have a throwback. There's all these cool data mines, like mod sets. So I think as Microsoft, because at some point you wouldn't think support can go on forever for the game. I think as they wind down support for the game eventually, that you'll see a lot more unique tournaments and people playing some data mods where this tournament is the Conquerors data mod with those balances and whatnot.
So to answer your question, the reason that you do not see more of that is because Microsoft views their sponsorship of tournaments as those tournaments being an extension, basically a subcontracted marketing department.
Like a commercial.
Right.
Yeah.
So therefore, if they're going to pay for it, they insist that their product should be advertised in what they're paying for. And that means that the tournament that accepts their money has to include all the product that they have to offer. Which could include unbalanced new civs and that sort of thing. So you're never going to see Microsoft-sponsored tournaments exclude DLC civilizations or anything like that. If tournaments transition away from Microsoft funding, then you could see a lot more of that. But that will never happen because, you know, we have some very established people making lots of money from off of Microsoft right now. But if Microsoft did decide to scale back the money, then that could change that dynamic. I like how Chipmunk is building this castle in the middle of his eco here, just to make him safe, less rateable.
When it comes to Chipmunk, I'm watching this game. Chipmunk is so mechanically good. You could see that the APM's there. He's paying attention to a bunch of stuff, but it's just the clear composition and game plan from Lonzo Wall is just overwhelming, it seems.
Chipmunk here with an interesting raid. Fire Lancers and Skirmishers on Lonzo Wall's woodline. Now, this can be kind of exhausting. These Skirmishers are well armored, so they could stand underneath the town center for a little while at least.
It's actually doing a lot. I thought it was maybe an accident to walk under there, but it seems to have not been... it's expensive still.
You know, to Hyder's point about Chronicles and the battle for Greece and everything, like we love... I love the battle for Greece. Chronicles, I've never played it. You know, I'm not really a single player guy, but they've added so many different creative units and stuff that we can, like for Alchemy League Season 11, both of our scouting units, the Iroquois Warrior and the Sacagawea Scout, so the harmful and the harmless scouts, they are both reskinned Chronicles units. One of them provides that aura with +2 pierce armor for allies. That's the Iroquois Warrior, the one that can fight. And the other provides the healing aura that I explained earlier. Neither of those flavorful scouts would be available if we didn't have Chronicles units available. So
yeah, the Chronicles stuff seems fun. I think there's just like whenever they add more stuff to the game, I think especially on like these tournaments that aren't sponsored by Microsoft, I think it just adds a little bit more flavor because what makes Age so cool is you can kind of do whatever you want with it. You can set up whatever rule set you want.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a tournament that was Chronicles based would be super neat.
Hyder saying that he thinks Age of Empires 4 has a decent following. Yeah, I don't think it's the same as Age of Empires 2, but it still has a decent following. Lonzo Wall has built a castle finally. This is a wood castle right here. This castle is on a pretty big forward wood line and kind of this ring of wood around the pagan shrine, and the organ guns are rolling forward and beginning to pressure Chipmunk's
No, and ticking up, he's
forward town
ticking up
center.
to Imp right at the same time too.
Oof.
It's man, this is just a tough game where it's just such decisive decisions, and also Lonzo Wall is having a great time playing this game because he's got to play with every unit.
Chipmunk is
Crossbow, knight.
Yeah, he's still ahead in score. Chipmunk is. He's got fire lancers and he's got some scouts and he's got some. So he basically is making all the trash units here. What do you do as Jurchens against all of these organ guns? Probably just mangonels, right? Hyder could clarify.
Oh, you die. It's. I mean, I don't
just
know
die?
what you do. This is so cooked. Yeah, I don't know how Chipmunk's got the score lead at all.
It's probably in the eco. Let's check. And well, no, not really. I mean, he's only got a 1 villager advantage over Lonzo Wall. Lonzo Wall has a score lead again. I bet it was the Imperial Age that caused Lonzo Wall's score to drop significantly initially.
And you know what? It's again when you pick these more specialized civs, it's just your options lack in a lot of areas. You don't have the open tech tree that you'd have if you're Saracens or if you're Byzantines. So it's just it feels like the Portuguese and their massive amounts of options have just become so overwhelming.
So we got a night raid here from Lonzo Wall, and we have some iron pagodas. Now I don't know anything about iron pagodas at all, except that it sounds very strong.
This unit's, I know it, I have very little experience with this unit. From what I understand, they basically dodge the first melee attack. Sort of like the Gujaran unit.
Ooh.
But it's not that good. There's a big reset timer for it. So I'm not sure about the overall stats, though, and how they compete. Either way, you're up against Cavalier here.
Well, that's interesting. Do you know if there's a hero version of the Iron Pagoda? Maybe we can.
I have no idea.
Maybe we can turn the hero version of an Iron Pagoda into a unique scout for a future season of Alchemy League. One that can dodge attacks. That'd be a lot of fun.
Dodge the melee attacks? That would make the scout fights in Dark Age hilarious.
That would make them pointless, in a way. Hyder says they're either too strong or they're too weak. They're either overwhelming or underwhelming. We have the Cavaliers. I like these choices from Lonzo Wall. I think Portuguese Cavalier make a lot of sense. The Cavaliers themselves are cheaper in gold cost. And it's not a unit that I don't think you see Portuguese making Cavaliers very often, but when you're paired with these organ guns, the Cavalier main counter, which is Fire Lancers, just get absolutely mowed down by all of these bullets. So, you know, these things just allow these Cavaliers a blank check to do whatever they want.
Yeah, and you know what? The other thing with Chipmunk is he's really stayed in his base. He hasn't gotten out across the map. You know, you look at Lonzo Wall, he's pretty spread out at this point. He's seen a lot. And it's just now when you're losing your base, all your infrastructure is going away, now you're spreading out. And it's it just feels like it's the Titanic a little bit. You can't get enough water out of the boat.
You can't tread water fast enough here. Lonzo Wall adding another castle.
This comp is so brutal. I don't know what beats this comp, honestly.
This is tough. I'm not sure how Lonzo did this, to tell you the truth. It seemed like Chipmunk did a lot of damage to him early on with the scout rush. Maybe it was something as simple as Chipmunk built more town centers than Lonzo and tried to boom more heavily on this map than Lonzo did. But they both have similarly sized ecos now.
I think it's just the decision making from and the clinical timings from Lonzo. Like Chipmunk, I feel like has a lot of swag when he plays, and you're seeing the quick walls and everything. I think actually Lonzo put down the first extra town center. It's just the clinical timings of those crossbow coming in when they did, and it's really snowballed from there.
Chipmunk is Chipmunk's been with us for a while. This is the first season that Lonzo has played in. But Chipmunk has gotten very good playing throughout Alchemy League to be able to go up against an opponent like Lonzo Wall.
I think Lonzo I've lost in other age tourneys too, maybe by like a Kier or something like that.
So Chipmunk with these.
Oh my god, the Iron Pagodas are actually winning that fight.
Yeah, then Lonzo has to retreat here. The Iron Pagodas are coming coming to fight these organ guns, the Cavaliers are not in position.
It's the Pierce armor, like, if they're not elite, but I mean the Pierce armor is good. It's a base 3. I mean that's the base of a paladin, right?
That's true. Shares the same base armor. The organ guns.
Oh, it's not enough.
No, it's not enough. Lonzo eventually gets there with his Cavaliers and provides reinforcements, pushing back chippies, iron pagodas. Now,
oh man, the people that know how to play the Portuguese well are just such menaces.
Chipmunk calling the GG. Lonzo Walsh, the scourge of Chipmunk here, playing the Portuguese. He's everywhere. He's all over the map.
Yeah, that was a clinical game from Lonzo.
Hyder, what do you think? You saw my my cast. Hopefully, I showed you the right screens. What do you think? Let me know, guys. Not just Hyder. Anybody in chat. What do you think? Lonzo pretty dominant here, but Chipmunk seemed to have a really compelling scout rush. So what went wrong for Chipmunk after that? What did Lonzo do that Chipmunk just could not deal with? Let me know what you think in the chat. Let's go take a look at the statistics. Maybe they'll give
You know what? I'm not sure where the big moment was. I just think the difference of having the crossbows and getting up when he did was really the snowball, and then the instant switch from, all right, I have these crossbows, I'm not making these anymore, I'm gonna save these, and going into knights, I just countering all of the skirmishers that Chipmunk was making.
Mm-hmm.
That was a nice play.
Hyder says, this is why I tend to ban Portuguese. So Hyder is like, oh, that could happen to anybody with a Portuguese opponent. Yeah.
I'm with Hyder, dude. This Civ always cooks me. I'm always getting beat by this Civ.
So Lonzo Wall with 102 kills, 59 units lost, 17 buildings destroyed, and a largest army of 61. In terms of economy, Chipmunk had more food, Lonzo Wall had more wood, stone, and gold collected. Technology. Chipmunk faster to feudal age, Lonzo Wall faster to castle and imperial age. Chipmunk with 94% of the map explored. Research counted.
You know what? I'm scared of Lonzo. If I'm Chipmunk, I'm shaking a little bit going into this next game.
128 versus 142 eco. All right, let's load the second game. Now we're
you know what? In the second game, it's another situation where Chipmunk is picking the more limited Civ on the tech tree, a Civ you're hoping to be a little bit more aggressive with, and Lonzo going with a Civ with a wide open tech tree in the Saracens.
That's true. Celts are definitely a more specialized Civ. All right, I'm at 1 second, and I am ready to go whenever you are.
I'm at 1 second as well.
All right, 3, 2, 1, go. So they're somewhat far apart on this particular generation. This is Shogun by Biscuits. Biscuits always likes to make maps that are inspired by Chinese or Japanese cities. Biscuits seems to really like Asian culture. And this map represents Asian culture in the sense that you got kind of a couple of ruined old towers, and you have a main ruined keep here with some stone piles. And the players are rebuilding in a couple of those towers in order to take the map. You also have a few other broken down towers that contain maybe the treasury. Maybe this ancient daimyo had some gold or riches or a treasury and in the towers that collapsed. So you got some berries in the middle. If players are greedy, you might see them go out for these berries, and not a ton of food inside of your own base. And your woodlines
and your base is very small, not a ton of anything inside your own base.
No, that's true, not much of anything. And you have a kind of a wreath of wood around the outside of the map, but your woodline is not within those stone walls. So at least you get a little bit of gold inside of your stone walls, and that's basically it. So
no, this is a really cool take on Arena. I've never seen the stone wall where it's just a really small base. Because, man, you're going to have a lot of raidable eco then when you go out here. Look, there is nothing. There's no woodlands. I mean, it is wide open in the middle.
Yeah, it's pretty desolate. Chipmunk is even exploring with this sheep. He's sheep scouting to help him get a little bit of a scouting advantage. Hopefully for Chipmunk, Lonzo doesn't find this sheep. He's got enough sheep in the in his own base. He's not going to run out of food. But yeah, there's a lot of space out here to explore. A lot of people say that Arena is all about the map control. I think that you could do some pretty wicked things with map control here too. You could build a castle on this in this central area, maybe right on the edge. You could get a hill advantage against this stone wall, which would be pretty brutal. You could.
Yeah, I'm wondering how worth it would even be to try and push the main base. I feel like it's almost more worth to try and just try your best to have your aggression focus on keeping your opponent from expanding, getting on either side of them with the production building.
So the Celts, let's talk about this civilization matchup. This is a classic civilization matchup. This goes all the way back to the Age of Kings. Both these civilizations were present in the Age of Kings. Of course, the Celts are the feature of the William Wallace campaign, which was heavily inspired by the 1995 film Braveheart. And the Saracens were, heavily featured in the Saladin campaign. So both of them campaigns in the original Age of Kings. Saracens are all about their camels and their monks and their crossbows, their archers and their cavalry archers. And they have a very open tech tree, as Johnny Walsh was describing earlier. Whereas the Celts are a bit more specialized. They are an infantry and siege civilization. They do not have as many mobility options, although their Woad Raiders are quite fast. The Woad Raider is the unique unit for the Celts. We can see that Chipmunk has come forward here, and he is taking some berries. Lonzo Wall is not taking any berries at all. Does Lonzo know that Chipmunk is here? Well, he just found out.
He just saw it.
So if you're Lonzo...
There's not much you can do about it.
Not right now, but if you're Lonzo, you're like, my opponent is out in the front taking some berries. So Lonzo
I love it. As the Celts, you got to take risks.
Yeah.
I feel with this, Sid. You don't want to be responding. Honestly, from the Celt player, I'd love to see, because you aren't too afraid of camels as the Celts, so I'd really like to see, Woads and Siege. I think could be a really nice combo here.
Definitely. And Chipmunk is building a barracks to help protect himself. He knows that Lonzo is onto him. He knows that Lonzo has been following his scout around in here and has probably seen his mill. So it makes a lot of sense for Chipmunk to build a barracks up here, maybe make a few spearmen when he gets to feudal age. And Chipmunk is actually already clicked up to the feudal age. We can see that economic bonus of coming forward to the berries has already paid off for Chipmunk, and he has a slight economic lead. But it's not very much, because Lonzo is right behind him. Lonzo is about 15%, Chipmunk's about 25%.
No, Chipmunk can see that he's not walled over here. I wonder if he makes a militia. Yep, there's a militia being queued up.
Yeah, so Chipmunk, noticing that Lonzo has not walled one side of his...
Can you not wall this ground here?
I believe that you can.
Okay, so he's going for the short walls, though.
Pretty sure that you can, but he's going for the quick wall anyway, just in case. But yeah, Celt Man-at-Arms, why are they good? They're not intrinsically maybe powerful, but Celt Man-at-Arms... Chipmunk has actually built...
They're the original champions, baby.
I love this. Yeah,
they're
exactly.
The original champions.
OG champions. They're fast. The Celt infantry are fast. They just run around. It's impossible to get away from them. It's impossible to keep them out. And we're going to see Man-at-Arms towers from Chipmunk, which I absolutely love. Johnny Walrus is probably...
Here, from Lonzo still.
Yeah, Johnny Walrus is probably super excited. He's like, ooh, somebody's going Man-at-Arms.
I do love it. Oh, they're both going Man-at-Arms. They're both going militias.
Boy.
Let's go.
Here's a bunch of villagers coming forward for Lonzo. I'm not exactly sure what this is. Maybe Lonzo kind of knows what's coming. Man-at-Arms coming in for Lonzo.
But not enough gold for the Man-at-Arms upgrade from Chipmunk here.
So Chipmunk is building... No, Lonzo is building an archery range, and Chipmunk is sort of fighting this. I guess it's a little chaotic. All right, Lonzo has Man-at-Arms, and Chipmunk is just kind of running at this point. He's got a weak villager. Oh boy, is she going to be able to get away? I think she is.
I got faith in the quick wall here. Oh no, it doesn't even need it. Just walk it back.
And Chipmunk building the archery range. So I think Chipmunk maybe intended to go Celtic Man-at-Arms, but he didn't quite get around to it because he was not expecting Lonzo to send the entire town.
No, and it's just another thing where Lonzo's a little cleaner. I like the gameplay choice from Chipmunk, but not having the gold for the upgrade there, it has kind of spiraled into this.
So Lonzo is building a tower now on this stone. He's going to try to keep Chipmunk from colonizing this area. The area is too large for a single tower to deny all of the stone. But we can see Lonzo has picked off another one of Chipmunk's villagers. Chipmunk trying to get in here to stop this tower, but it's too late. The tower goes up and Chipmunk has to pull out, and he's lost another villager here.
Man,
so
if I'm Chipmunk, I'm just sending everything. I'm grabbing all these villas off gold, and we're heading to the middle for a big fight.
I mean, I know it sounds a little bit crazy, but given the number of losses in villagers that Chipmunk has sustained, but they're actually, or they were, tied for villagers, and Chipmunk is actually ahead of Lonzo in villager count.
Lonzo has a lot of TC idle time right now.
Exactly. That's because Lonzo only has two villagers on food, and at least Chipmunk has tried to build up some more farms. He just finished off another sheep. So Cablo says, is it not possible to wall the paved area near the walls? I mean, you can. I think you can. Yeah, I think you can. I think you can wall all throughout here. Let me know if that's not true, though.
Yeah, it's just weird that they haven't, and that texture is different on that part of the mountain, so I'm not sure.
So we see Chipmunk is still running around here with 3 villagers.
Oh, no way. Is he going to save one?
I'm not sure. He sent some help. These villagers are running for their lives. He's got
oh my gosh. Not, all 3 are saved.
He manages to save them, which is pretty impressive.
Oh, great play, man. I mean, despite all the chaos, still, like, really solid play. This is one of these things where Chipmunk is in the lead here by some miracle. So I do wonder, does the player recognize that? I don't think I would recognize in this situation that I'm actually ahead.
No, I think it's
despite having to run my vills like that.
It's a lot like the first game on Crater of Doom where Cablo was actually ahead in villagers, but because Manzanito was playing so aggressively, he had no idea that he was actually competitive with his opponent. And I think it's somewhat similar here, where Chipmunk may not realize that he's actually ahead of Lonzo, because Lonzo sent like 1/3 of his town forward to fight.
Look how smart these archers are in the back. I love this Chipmunk guy. The way this dude plays is just so hype.
Chipmunk has had a lot of fun with Alchemy League throughout the seasons, that's for sure. Lonzo coming back with some archers to finally drive this off, but not before Chipmunk could pick off a villager with his own archers.
But another thing with Chipmunk, where it's just a little bit off, is there's no fletching on these archers. No
fletching?
So you've made all these archers and you have no fletching on them.
So Cablo says, I played this map and I couldn't. I'll test it later again. I wanted to wall the wood line in the back. Okay, well that would make sense why they haven't then. It would also explain why Lonzo has built some stuff here, but he hasn't completed the wall to his own stone walls. So he hasn't been able to wall between his base and the wood line, because it looks like he did start it. So it makes sense. I just don't remember at this time.
No, so, what's the farm count looking like? Only 4, but then there's berries.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, right now I definitely like Chipmunk's eco setup more. But you're in another situation where what are you gonna make when you get into Castlage if you're Chipmunk?
So we got a market from Lonzo Wall, and not a moment too soon, in my opinion. Lonzo Wall is the Saracens. Markets are cheaper for them, and their market trade rate is cheaper as well. So this will help Lonzo Wall balance his economy a little bit better, which has been hit hard by Chipmunk. He's only got 30 villagers, and Chipmunk is at 34. Lonzo Wall seems to have constructed an archer army, and these archers could chisel their way through stone walls eventually. Chipmunk, look at this, not taking any chances. He's built a tower on his back wood line, which I think is pretty smart. But if you build your tower there, you can't build it elsewhere. So
I kind of like Chipmunk at this point, just saying, screw it, I'm not going to get any blacksmith upgrades. We're just going to try and get up, if that's the plan here.
Lonzo is close to clicking up himself. He's just shy of 100 food, really. Let's check Chipmunk's resources.
Long whiz.
Chipmunk is actually
Oh,
getting
and
fletching
now,
now.
now they're getting the upgrade. Yeah, I don't like this decision at all. You're getting wheelbarrow, now you're getting fletching.
So Lonzo Wall here driving some farmers off of their farms, but he can't stay there forever, so Chipmunk will come back. Lonzo has clicked up to the castle age, and Chipmunk is not close. I mean, maybe
Yeah,
Chipmunk
this is the
can catch
exact
up, but
opposite situation you want to be in as Celts.
as Celts, you want to be getting to the castle age, and you want to be getting your fast mangonels and
Although nice, he
scorpions out.
look at catches them in the back, Chipmunk catches them building the tower.
Oh wow!
So you are going to get value out of the late fletching call here, which I mean I think would have caught a lot of people off guard.
Chipmunk leaving, deciding not to camp at the base of the tower. I guess it's smart. Lonzo Wall could come back with his archers and drive it off. Chipmunk building a market here, but this market is going to be denied by Lonzo Wall. Actually, very easily. He has to delete it because there's Saracens, right? So the Saracens could just destroy the foundation rather easily. And he's going to build the market on the other side. I guess it is.
You would think it's a castle with how many vills are throwing that thing up.
You can see that Lonzo Wall has decided he's just going to destroy Chipmunk's farms. He could potentially chisel his way through these walls, but the disadvantage with that is that, you know, if he gets too much closer, he's in range of the town center. So Chipmunk has built a market, and he is building a mining camp, and so we kind of know what Chipmunk is planning here. He's just got to be able to get up, and he doesn't quite have the resources. I think he's going to buy a little bit of food. Lonzo Wall building a forward siege workshop. So Lonzo Wall is looking to looking to lay the smackdown on Chipmunk. He's taking advantage of his early Castle Age. Does not want to do Castle Age versus the Celts on this map.
I mean, if you're Chipmunk at this point, you got to just try and run everybody to gold and just go all in siege and just hope you can claw your way back into the game. And it looks like they're doing that though.
Yeah, Chipmunk was trying to take this gold that was in his base, but Lonzo Wall was constantly harassing it with his crossbows. So Chipmunk has made the decision to come out here and take this gold instead. It may help him for a little bit. I think Lonzo Wall will be suspicious. He'll see that Chipmunk is not taking gold here
Deletes the
anymore.
mining camp, hoping Lonzo doesn't notice that.
Yeah, that's funny. Lonzo can see the rubble for it, though. So he knows that there was a mining camp there at some point. Chipmunk just desperately looking for some safe place to take resources.
Oh man, that's a nice find though of that gold here.
Let's see what Lonzo Wall knows. Actually, Lonzo Wall does not know about this gold back here. So therefore, he will not check this location for gold. Does Lonzo Wall know about this stone? He doesn't know about the stone, but he knows about this gold here. So if Lonzo, with these crossbows, showed up, you know, to check this gold and just make sure there's nothing around it, he might spot this mining camp, and he might be able to deny these stone miners. So a lack of information is contributing to Chipmunk's persistence in this game. Or rather, I should say that...
No, you're going to build a castle in this washed little base?
Yeah, the castle really should be...
I was hoping it would go on the gold pile on the left there.
It would make more sense. But I guess he's worried about losing this town center and about losing a potential farming location. If he loses this hill, maybe he's worried he'll lose his wood line. So I understand it.
Gotta go double siege workshop now, I feel. So I feel like double siege workshop probably would have been able to push this back though. Your Celts on top of the hill.
So if Chipmunk is able to win this game, it will be because Lonzo did not spot these miners here.
Yes. Yeah, no, it's giving Chipmunk new life.
So what are we doing with the castle here for Chipmunk? Chipmunk not making any woads as far as I can tell. The castle is
Oh
purely
man, no siege
defensive.
workshop is I don't like the second TC at all.
On the wood line here, it would have made more sense to build it on his gold or something.
You know what? It's funny because I'm saying that, but Chipmunk's got a 10-vil lead.
Yeah,
Chipmunk's
that is
ahead in
weird.
resources collected. I can't believe this. I'm completely reading this game wrong here. Chipmunk's reading this right.
He's doing the same thing that he did during the first game. Actually, Lonzo Wall adding another town center now. Maybe he's thinking he's going to try to catch up. He has one lonely villager on wood. But he's definitely been using the market and playing hyper-aggressive as Saracens here.
Yeah, this is a game where if you're watching it, you aren't realizing, and you aren't looking at the numbers or the villagers, you don't realize the state of this game. I figured, man, it felt like Chipmunk was so far behind all this aggression, behind the slower timings, but it is working out. And now, oh, he leaves right as the outpost is being built.
Yeah, so Lonzo Wall building this outpost because he is perhaps a little bit suspicious of why Chipmunk hasn't resigned yet. So he sees there's a gold here and that Chipmunk isn't taking it. And he's got another villager coming forward, and he's going to build this other outpost. And that outpost will reveal Chipmunk's... Actually, it doesn't even need the outpost. Chipmunk has managed to squeeze a town center up here just in time. So Lonzo knows
and the
that
Woads
Chipmunk
are
has
sniping
here.
more siege. I mean, the Chipmunk has really turned what seemed like a brutal situation into a solid advantage. I don't love the monastery. The Celt Monastery does not feel good. I just make siege workshops.
Yeah, I don't know what the monastery is for exactly. Maybe he's afraid that
Probably
Lonzo's
seen the
gonna make
castle.
Knights, maybe. Knights or camels, and he wants to be able to convert them. Or maybe he just wants to
Well,
get the relic. Could be it,
I
too.
think he's maybe thinking Mameluke. You're right. It could be it's probably the relic is why. You're right.
But
you know what? And Chipmunk keeping that feudal army alive, we'll see if that comes into play later, too.
that's true. Chipmunk's got this feudal army just kind of standing here on the wood line, sort of cooking, waiting for something to happen.
Panicking, rushing up.
I don't know. I don't know what his plans are for it. Maybe he just forgot about it. He's under so much pressure. So Lonzo...
Look how fast this TC is going down.
Yeah,
oh my gosh.
Lonzo with a very logical, like, all right, well, I'm just going to come melt this town center with my archers. So Chipmunk has built a defensive siege workshop and is working on a mangonel. And this is where, you know, Lonzo should be adding monasteries and redemption, and he could probably really... There's no reason why he shouldn't be able to get this town center if he wants it. The mangonel could totally be converted. Yeah, it chases the...
No, you're totally right. Redemption would be good, although Lonzo's got 0 on gold at the moment.
Using the market very, very heavily. Lonzo adding town center on this gold out here. This will help him secure the income that he needs to tech more so into the monks. Nobody's come out here and claimed this gold yet.
I'm loving that we finally got the siege workshop rolling.
Yep, and Chipmunk has made 2 mangonels to help defend his town center. He's also mostly repaired his town center. Lonzo building more outposts out in this region to monitor Chipmunk's activities. Snipes some villagers off of Chipmunk, and here's another town center that that Lonzo can lob some fire arrows at. They're not really flaming arrows. You don't get those until you get chemistry, but you get the idea. These are arrows that eat away at the town center. Chipmunk destroying Lonzo's outpost to remove any warning that Lonzo might have that Chipmunk is moving in this direction.
It's going to come down to, I feel like about getting your farming eco going. Lonzo's slightly ahead in that department, it looks like. Well, maybe not. Maybe not, actually. It's hard to tell.
Lonzo dropping a castle on Chipmunk's town center. So Chipmunk will be forced to evacuate.
This will be a lot of dead vills.
Yeah, it'll be at least 6 dead villagers here. Well, then Chipmunk has to give up that location. Lonzo also fully controls the center. He's got access to all of this stone. I think that Lonzo's been mostly selling this stone. And that's where he's been getting most of his gold from.
It's got to be the case, because there's been pretty much nobody on gold up until right now. I mean, even right now, he's only got 2 on gold, and it's on the TC with all the farms around it.
Ooh, so Chipmunk is preparing a ram push of some kind. He's got 3 flagged rams underneath his town center on his little acropolis here.
Oh, look at this! You're right. Oh, I'm not sure how I feel about it. It's tough. You got to go up the hill. You got to path through the berries, through the neutral wall.
Yeah, I don't know. And with the monastery neutralized from Chipmunk, or about to be neutralized, we see Mamelukes coming out. Okay, the Mangonels have crushed a Mameluke. It's tough to make rams against Saracens and to like ram charge a Saracen castle because Mamelukes are so powerful. They do the melee damage against the rams. But maybe if you can ram it down quickly.
What if you just ignore the middle and you just go and you hit this castle on the left?
I don't know. It could work. You could maybe get even a hill advantage too. The castle's kind of in an awkward location at the base of this hill.
Yeah, the middle just seems like it's a tough place to try and squeeze through. Plus, there's the siege workshop there for support. I'm not sure. So it's a good game so far. It's a game where, man, it's hard to predict what'll happen here.
So Chipmunk
villager count is dead even.
Chipmunk brought his...
Chipmunk is 5k res ahead collected.
Yeah. So here are the rams. He pokes into Lonzo Wall's vision. Chipmunk brought his feudal army back and jumped into the rams with them. And he's got a few Woad Raiders here to support
no
the attack
upgrades on the Woads, though.
Yeah, no upgrades on the Woads.
Oh, wow. This will go down fast, though.
But
there's been absolutely no... Like, did not see this coming at all from Lonzo. Didn't see this at all.
Mm-hmm. I wonder if the Celt bonus of siege
that's a lot of units in there.
Applies to rams. And here Chipmunk has arrived and he's destroyed this castle. He's got some Woads around outside. Lonzo gets a few conversions in, converts a few Woads, and the Woads get surrounds on these Mamelukes. Chipmunk taking some damage, but he clears out Lonzo's unique units in the center, and now he's going to go for this monastery, which has 4 relics in it. Guys, remember that Alchemy League is a standard victory condition. So that means, no, he's not going for the monastery. He's going for the other castle.
My gosh, just ignoring the crossbows. You know, oh man, Woads are such a strong unit. They've been buffed so much over the years, especially the Castle Age version.
Lonzo just microing. All he really wants to do is to just kill the rams. Whereas Chipmunk, you know, whenever he jumps out of these rams to get at the Woads, there's a bunch of arrows that come at him. All right,
yeah, it feels tough. Do you just try and run away with these Woads? Do you commit to this?
It's crossbows here, and I think I think this Chipmunk's push has run out of steam. He wasn't able to get the second castle because these crossbows came and finished off the Woad Raiders. Plus, Lonzo is more than halfway to the Imperial Age, so Chipmunk was able to clear out this castle, but he just did not have the steam to clear out the other castle. Maybe he didn't realize Lonzo still had these crossbows, which I guess
it's one of these
sense.
where Chipmunk is actually playing so well, and when you look at the stats, you'd think that they'd be to Imperial first, but maybe just making those Woads just a few too many there, where maybe you didn't need it, is caused the gap to Imperial Age.
I think Chipmunk should have just secured the middle, taken the monastery down, rolled his 2 mangonels forward. Maybe he needed them to be in another position or something, but if Chipmunk had not attacked this other castle, I think there's a good chance that he could have secured all of the stone and these 4 relics in the center. And those units would be alive. Maybe he would have a better shot here. But he's got to be pretty nervous. Lonzo's just reached Imperial Age. He's getting Arbalister. He's getting Bracer. So his buildings are going to be torn down pretty quickly. This other castle is making trebuchets. So the good news for Chipmunk is that he has a bigger economy. He's actually fully boomed to 100 villagers, whereas Lonzo only has 80. It seems that Chipmunk is preparing another ram push.
You're in the brutal spot though now, where you're an imp against Saracens as the Celts, where it just feels like you have no real answer to the army that the Saracens can make. And
no way, Chipmunk, I don't think he's anywhere close to the resources to clicking up either. Let's check his point of view. Yeah, he's nowhere close. He's just getting horse collar now.
What do you think about the decision to just kind of stay in castle for a bit and make a ram push on a different part of the map? I kind of like the idea. I see it.
I don't know. It's so tough to deal with
These
Saracens.
mangonels are just useless though now with Bracer in.
Yeah. I think Chipmunk is in big trouble here. Chipmunk, it does seem that he's got an offensive going at 4 o'clock or so. Oh, he's sending the Rams around to hit Lonzo's economy. This is a
I'm
rogue
interested to
raid.
see if Lonzo saw that.
This is literally, I mean, he could have. He's got
Oh,
vision.
Lonzo did see it. He's got the Mamluks coming over.
Okay. So this is kind of, I guess this is kind of what you have to do as Chipmunk. You know you can't really fight the
Oh man,
Arbalisters.
his Celts, it just feels so bad though to fight, to go into Arbalest. You just don't, especially when you're not an imp. You can't even go Onager. You can't, you know. Maybe Scorpion. Like you don't really want to go Skirms.
The Woads jump out, engage the Mamelukes. The Rams are continuing to work at the gate.
Oh, don't lose track of your army here now, Chipmunk. There we go. No, causing a little chaos. I like this because you're at least making Lonzo have to micro.
Yep.
And the Woads will kill these things fast if they can
They will.
land a few hits.
Lonzo has to be careful. So the good news is Chipmunk really can kill probably both of these town centers. It'll take him some time, but if Lonzo never withdraws his crossbows...
Look at the Rams going out to the,
I see that,
to the
yeah.
Trebs. This is actually so big-brained if it works. Oh, you can block, though, with the Arbs if Lonzo's paying attention.
The Arbs are just eating the Rams here.
Oh, he's kind of microing them bad, though. The Rams, poorly. They're going to get the Trebs, though. Oh, my gosh. What a
Chipmunk.
play.
And Lonzo,
what a play.
Lonzo has gotten all the relics of all things.
Oh, look at, yeah, the countdown timer's on.
So, 195 years for Chipmunk to be able to destroy this monastery. And Chipmunk loses his army, but he destroyed the trebuchets.
You know what? He's got a 50 bill lead.
I mean, can Chipmunk come back here, you guys?
If you could recognize the villager lead you're at with Chipmunk, Skirms is actually getting to a point where you got a viable enough economy to spam it out, where you could probably make it work. But it's just going to be so hard to recognize your position in this game.
Yeah. Does Chipmunk... And Chipmunk, if you see this, later, let us know. Did you realize that you were 50 villagers ahead of Lonzo Wall at this point? Chipmunk making more Rams. Chipmunk is going imp. Chipmunk is imping.
My
He
gosh,
has bought
yes.
himself time.
With the score difference, I'm not going to lie, I would think about resigning in this moment, so I just hope he doesn't. I hope he sticks in there. He's shown a lot of grit so far.
So Lonzo is presumably making more trebuchets. That's what I would do.
And the farming eco from Lonzo is so bad, so he's going to have to stick with Arb here.
No.
If you can get into Onager, man, anything's possible. Seriously.
Or Siege Rams.
Siege Rams, and you can get Woads, Elite Woad Raider. Elite Woad Raider has the same attack as a Paladin. Dude, I'm telling you, these Woads are so good these days.
Lonzo has made a very controversial choice. He's added another town center, and he's only now just building one trebuchet. So Lonzo has sort of taken his foot off of the gas. He's decided to try to catch up in eco, and then slowly add more siege engines to continue pushing Chipmunk. So Lonzo, playing less aggressively now, could have chosen to go after Chipmunk more aggressively without adding more eco, including town centers and villagers. So will that provide Chipmunk with the opening that he needs to make a comeback in this game?
I don't like the choice for the extra town center just purely because you lost your town centers where your farming eco was. So now you have all these empty farms not being used. You're going to have to rebuild every single one of those. It's just going to slow you down a lot where this is your biggest advantage. Now what's good for Lonzo though is that you're still up against Celts, and Celts don't have the most straightforward answers versus Arbalist or hand cannons if you end up getting into those.
So 2 trebuchets working on Chipmunk's castle.
All Rams.
Chipmunk needs to send 10 villagers to repair this.
Dude, who would have thought,
he's
dude?
in
A
now.
chipmunk is my spirit animal. I love this guy. The way this guy plays is so relatable.
All right, yep.
All your timings are off. You're forgetting shit, but goddamn, dude, you pick some crazy strats.
Yeah, Chipmunk, very fun to watch him play. Chipmunk is getting a unique technology. Hopefully he's getting it from his castle that
Yeah, he's
is
getting it
not
from a
being
different
attacked.
castle.
Fura Celtica, so what is that? Siege weapons have 40% more hit points.
Yeah, these are going to be tanky rams here.
And they are capped ram at this point. And he is getting siege ram. Oh my gosh.
Now you have no gold right now if you're chipmunk, so you got to use your remaining gold to get into a trash unit.
He's
preferably some skirm.
He's got 19 on gold. Where are they? Where are Chipmunk's 19 gold?
They're on the bottom.
Oh, there they are.
Bottom of the map there.
Lonzo Wall sent some raiding Mamelukes here. Mamelukes are not fantastic as raiders because they only have... I guess they kind of are because they're fast, but they can't dive town centers because they're camels. They lack the pierce armor, and they lack the range. And so now Chipmunk trying to keep this castle alive. He's getting elite Woad Raider, but he's sending the rams in now.
Oh my gosh, elite roads. Roads are so good. I think you go now.
Can he get elite? Chipmunk needs to repair this castle, but he's out of stone. Chipmunk, man, just delete your walls. It doesn't matter anymore.
No, he's not going for that the defend. He's going on the offense here.
He's letting this castle go.
This guys.
He should be sniping the
but
rams.
you got elite woads, and now you got no castles. Oh, these are all the woads he's gonna have.
Oh no.
This is what I'm talking about, where you're attacking through these berries. It's still gonna go down. The castle will go down.
Chipmunk gonna snipe the castle from Lonzo
and
here.
the Mamelukes are just under the town center. Chipmunk doesn't notice.
Oh no.
Oh, the horror of war. The horror of war.
Chipmunk ejecting the rams now. He's making a
now
desperate stand for this. Oh, you know what it is? It's the desperate stand for the monastery. That's why he had to go for this castle.
Oh, you're right. See, I always forget about this. I've lost a few games in Alchemy League just because I forget that timer is going on.
So he does manage to destroy the monastery and deny the relic victory.
But he's lost the most efficient part of his eco.
Yeah, he's lost
without noticing.
He's lost his woads. What's the plan now, Chipmunk? All right, he's got a few woads killing this trebuchet, and he's lost a lot of villagers to these Mamelukes. He didn't notice the Mamelukes.
No, and the problem is it was only feudal armor for a long time on the woads. It was the micro wasn't the best there. It's just a tough position for the Celts.
Okay, the town center is going up as Lonzo has reclaimed the map, and Chipmunk calls the GG. Chipmunk played his heart out.
What an awesome game.
Wow. Yeah,
what an awesome game.
This was a great game. Lonzo Wall taking 2 games over Chipmunk here. But Chipmunk having some good plays in both of them, particularly this second game. Super entertaining to see Chipmunk's interpretation of the Celts.
Yes, Lonzo is a scary opponent to run into because Lonzo is just the fundamentals on having your timings, knowing what you're going for, picking civs with a wide array of tech options. That is a scary player to play against because there's no one trick going on there. There's no all-in aggression where if you survive this thing, you're going to be there. It's like, man, Lonzo's going to be tough to beat.
Yeah, he's had a good first sprint. Let's take a look at the statistics here. So Lonzo Wall with 206 units killed, 68 units lost, 30 buildings razed, and 12 lost, 2 units converted, and a largest army of 77. Chipmunk with more food and wood, a lot more wood collected. Makes sense. Celts get a wood bonus after all. Lonzo with more stone and gold collected. Chipmunk with a faster feudal age. Lonzo with faster castle and imperial ages. Chipmunk with more of the map explored. Lonzo with slightly more research. Society. Chipmunk with 2 castles. Lonzo with 4. And Lonzo Wall with 3,350 relic gold.
You
Chipmunk
know
boomed
what
up to
was
150
interesting there
villagers.
is Chipmunk had such a the best part of Chipmunk's macro was keeping the villagers churning out. They had a lot less idle time through the early parts of the game, but it was just where they're getting their eco upgrades, where they're investing their upgrade in the blacksmith. It's like these are the things that are just slowing them down a little bit. You're waiting too long, or you're getting them too late. You know,
Hmm.
whereas like you kind of, in my opinion, if you don't get double bid X right away, and I'm sure there's people with much higher elo that might disagree with me, so I'd love to hear their opinion. But if you don't get that right away in feudal, it's almost worth not getting it till you click up.
Hmm.
Especially if you're the Celts, because you kind of got it pseudo for free in a way. But man, I mean, what a great! I mean, honestly, I thought both the series were really, really fun there. That was awesome, Age. I love, like, the coolest part about Age is no matter the elo, it is just entertaining to watch.
Yeah, these players did a great job. I enjoyed watching both sets. I'm really grateful to all the players for signing up for Alchemy League. Thank you so much, Johnny Walrus, for joining us on the cast today. We
Hey, thanks
are
for having me, brother. I appreciate you asking.
Yeah, we're out of games, but we'll see you guys next Sunday. I think is our next cast. So we've got a bunch of different co-casters that have signed up this season. So should be some good stuff. We really appreciate you joining again, Johnny Walrus, and I really hope that you guys will tune in for next time. All right, so let's see. We're gonna switch over. Everybody, let me know if you need anything. If you have any questions about the league, the next sprint will start in probably 2 or 3 days. So stay tuned and thank you.
Hey, well, shoot.